Great morning, dear students. Today we will be starting with the grammar topic models. Now, what are models in grammar? They are also known as helping verb, modal verbs or auxiliary verbs. So what do we understand here? Modals are the forms of verb. Helping verbs. Now, why are they known as helping verbs? Because their function in grammar is to help the main verb to express its meaning. Okay, express meanings in the sense possibility, okay, conditions or certain criterias. So we will read and understand the models, the usage of models and the different model forms. Okay, for that let us start with the two types of models, that is primary auxiliary models and modal auxiliaries. Okay, so here first we will clear this, that the helping verbs, the auxiliary verbs are classified into primary auxiliaries and then helping auxiliaries, or you can say that modal auxiliary verbs. Now, what are primary auxiliary verbs? See, they change their form according to the number and person of the subject. Okay, number you may understand singular and plural, and person of the subject here refers to the first person, second person and third person. Now, let us clear this with an example, like we have written a letter. So what do you observe here? We, the subject, is in the plural form. That is why my auxiliary verb have is also in the plural form. Have is the plural form of has. Okay. Then written. After the primary auxiliary verbs or auxiliary verbs, it is followed by the main verb. Okay. So this is plural subject is taking plural form of the auxiliary verbs. If you observe here, he, singular subject will take has, singular primary auxiliary verb here. So this way we have to keep in mind. And same goes for the first person, second person and third person. For first person, whether it is in singular or plural form, like I, singular, we, plural, we will always use the plural form of auxiliary verb. And this goes same for the second person, you. It can be singular, can be plural, but we will always use the plural form of the auxiliary, primary auxiliary verb. And now comes for the third person. Third person depends singular. Third person will take singular auxiliary verb. Plural. Third person will take plural auxiliary verbs. Okay. So that you have to keep in mind. Now, what are the three important primary auxiliary verbs? See, it is be, be, have and do. Now, let us see the forms of be. It is, are, am, was, were. So there are 5 forms of be that we have to keep in mind. And then have, has, have, had, 3 forms. Do, does, did. This is the 3 forms of do. If you remember, we have done this in our tenses lesson also when we were learning that. Okay. So these be, have and do, along with their forms, they forms the primary auxiliary verbs. Now, let us come to the modal auxiliary verbs, which is our topic for the today. They do not change their form according to the number and the person. Okay. So they are not changing. See, suppose here, he shall come tomorrow. Here, shall is your modal auxiliary verb, which is showing the possibility that he shall come tomorrow. They shall come tomorrow. So if you observe singular, plural, but it is used here shall. The form of the modal verb is not changing. So what do we conclude here? Primary auxiliary verbs changes their form in the terms of singular and plural and the subject and the number of the person. Okay, and here it does not change. Now, which are the modal auxiliary verbs that we are going to learn today? Shall, the past form of shall is should. will, the past form is would, then may, the past form might, can, could, must, ought to, need, dare. So all these we will be seeing how to use these in the sentences, or what are the things that we have to keep in mind for using these. Okay, see. See here, first one. Let us go to the use of primary auxiliary verbs. Okay, we will come to this first. See, as I told you, there are three primary auxiliary verbs: be, have, and do. So, is, are, am, was, and were. Is, are, am is denoting what? The continuous present form of the tense. Okay, it is used in the continuous form, and was and were is used for the past form. Okay, so if you observe here, is, are, is used for the singular present continuous form, are is used for the plural, you can say, and then similarly same goes for the was and where. Was is for singular and where is for the plural, that we have to keep in mind. Okay, now let's read the example. The fighter jets were flying in formation on the curtain. So see, fighter jets, here it is in the plural form. Okay, and where is denoting the past form. This where is the past form of the be. Now let's see the use of have, which is having three forms: have, had, has. Perfect tenses. Okay, what are perfect tenses? The work which has already finished. Perfect tenses denotes the time of the action that the work is already finished, was finished, or will be finished. Depending on that, we use has, had, and have. Has is used for the present perfect tenses. Okay, and you can say here have will be used with the first person, second person, and the plural form of the third person. And has is used for the singular form of the third person in the present perfect tenses. Okay, had is used for the past perfect tenses. Whether it is first person, second person, third person, singular or plural, we are going to use had. They have waited quite long. The new camera has improved. Okay, if I have to write this in the past, I will write they had waited quite long. So had waited denotes past perfect tense. Here have waited denotes present perfect time of the action. Okay, now let us come to do, does, and did. Okay, express negative and the interrogative forms of the sentence in indefinite tense. Okay, negative you know, which is using not, and interrogative it's using to ask the question. Okay, so does the car honk perfectly? So here if you observe, does, do is in the plural form, does is in the singular form, and did is your past form. Okay, so when I have the singular subject, the car, I am using does. Okay, I did not tell him to go home. Now if you see here did not, it is helping to form us the negative form of the sentences. Okay, so this is the use of primary auxiliary verbs that we have to do. Now let us come to the use of modal auxiliary verbs, that is our main topic for today. Okay, let us read that. Now let us discuss the first modal auxiliary, that is shall. An action in future when used with first person pronoun. So when are we using shall? We are using with the first person when it is expressing the future action of the first person. I shall board the bus. So this is my future event or future planning action that I have planned, which I will be doing. Okay, when else we are using shall? For command, promise, threat, suggestion, determination, when used with the second person. Okay, you shall pay for this. So what is this? I am telling him, threatening him, or that giving him the threat that you are going to pay for this. Okay, or you can say like suggestion, you shall do something for your improvement in the results. So this is the suggestion. Okay, shall I help you? This is what offering the help. So this is the way we are using our auxiliary verb shall. Now let us move further. See, the second one, then we are going to discuss will. An action in future used with second and third person. When we are using will, shall generally we are using with the first person, will we are using with the second and the third person. When we are suggesting or when we are speaking about the action which is going to happen in the future. She will cook food tomorrow. Okay. So, what is the work she is going to take? What event is going to happen tomorrow? Cooking of the food, and it is denoted with the help of the auxiliary modal auxiliary verb will. Here will denotes the future time. Okay, and then comes your main verb. They will meet Mahesh soon. Okay, so this is the way we are using will in our sentences. We also use will to express our willingness or threat or intention or promise when used with the first person. Okay, I will definitely come to your party. So here will gives the with I when it is used with the first person, it gives the promise you can say to the people for the future action. I will never speak Hindi. This is what I am deciding something, determining something that I am not going to do it in the future. So when I am using will with the first person, with I or we, it is showing doing the work of what we were doing in the second and third person of the shall. It is in this kind of opposite way you can say. Okay. Now let's come to the past form of should, shall, that is should. Okay, and it is generally used in the indirect speech. When are we using should? When we are writing indirect speech or saying that. Okay, like they said he should go home. Then they said he should go home. If you observe this is indirect speech. Duty. One should keep one's promise. Then when we are advising something, you should, as I told you, you should study hard for your better result. Okay, this is an advice. As assumption or inference, the students should have gone from school by. When we are assuming something that may have taken place in the past, then we are using should. Okay. Next is our would. Now, this would is what? It is the past form of the will, or you can say shall in the indirect speech. He said that we would go to Delhi. Okay, so that we are using in this way. Then we also use it for habitual action in the past. When else, where else we are using would? For our actions which were in our habit during the past time. He would often go to the park for a walk. Okay, that was his habit in the past. Okay, then polite request, would you give me a cup of tea? Okay, wish or desire, like I wish I would be the Prime Minister of this country, that way. Okay, preference or choices, then when we are expressing our choices, then we can use this, then we use the modal auxiliary verb would. Like, my sister would rather eat pizza. Okay, my mother would love to see me during the vacations, when we are expressing our preferences, wishes or choices. Okay, now let's come next to the next auxiliary verb, that is may. Okay, what it expresses possibility, the chances. Okay, it may rain today. There are chances that it may rain today. Seeking permission, may I come in? Okay, may I help you? Then wish, may you live long. Okay, may God bless you. So purpose, we eat so that we may live. Okay, we should study hard so that we may pass the examination. So this is how we are using our auxiliary verb may. Now comes the past form of may, that is might. that we use in the reported speech. They said it might rain. He said, see here, it may rain today. It is our direct speech. When the same thing I have to say into indirect form, I will use might. Okay, he said that it might rain today. Okay, so that is how we are using this. And when we have lesser possibility of something, may is also used to express possibility, might is also, but might is expressing very less possibility. Okay, he might visit you tonight. So there is little less possibility of him coming tonight. So for those events, for those actions, we are using might. Now the next one is can. Can is very clearly I can do this. So I am showing my ability. So it expresses ability, possibility, anyone can dance. Okay, permission also we use can I take picture with you? Okay, then the past form of can is could, which we use again in the reported speech. Okay, see here it is said I can play cricket. When I say this in the direct speech, I am using can. When I will change this into indirect speech, he said that he could play cricket. So it is the past form that we use in the reported speech in the indirect form. And then could is also used to express ability. Okay, he could solve all the sums. Polite request, could you help me to lift up this heavy box? Okay, that way. Now next comes your must. Must is giving you a compulsion. Okay, the necessity. You must earn to survive. You must learn how to work hard. Okay, recommendation. When we are recommending, okay, you must visit this doctor once. I am recommending the doctor to somebody. All the students must have read Shakespeare's play. So that means I am suggesting them, making a recommendation to them to study this. Okay, obligation. Okay, obligation means that is compulsory for us or any particular section of people or any particular thing to behave in that particular way. Okay, or to do some kind of certain actions. Then we are using must. Like students must respect the teachers if it is obliged to them or it is compulsory for them, expected compulsorily from them to respect their teachers. Okay. Now next comes ought to. Ought to becomes again the compulsion, or you can say the necessity in terms of moral sense. Okay, when it involves moral responsibility or duty, we ought to look after our old parents. Okay, we ought to touch our elders' feet. So this is our moral duty. You can say the necessary moral duties or the actions which is expected from us. Now coming to the next is used to. Again used to is also used to express your past habitual habit. We have learned would is also used to express your past habitual habits, or here used to is also used. He used to go for a walk. That means it is indicating that the habit of going for the walk was in the past. Okay, now dare shows courage in negativity. Okay, how dare you? So when I say this, that means I am showing how did you make this much courage in the negative sense. Okay, and interrogative sentences. She dare not speak to me. This is in the negative way. That means she should not have that much courage to speak to me. Dare you say any bad word to me? Okay, how did you say any bad word to me? This is the way we are asking him. Okay, using dare, the model auxiliary here, to form our interrogative sentences. Okay, next, have to and had to. Again, it gives obligations, the necessity in the present have to, and past had to. Okay, he has to carry luggage at the platform. This is compulsory, you can say. He has no other choice with him. Something is very important when we have to stay safe at home. Okay, so this is what is very important for us now. There is no other option then for us. Draw conclusion. That means something has happened, and what is the conclusion of that event or the action. To express that, then we are using have to or had to. This have to be the result of her mistakes. Okay, so that this had to be an important part of the planning. So this way we are using have to and has to. Okay, so these are the you can say the important auxiliary verbs that we have to models that we have to keep in our mind. Okay, based on this I will give you the exercise also. If any difficulty is there, you can ask me. I will send you the notes PDF also. Please read it carefully because you may be confused in some of the models. So if you read with the examples and try to form your own examples, then the concept will be more clear to you. Okay, I hope you will read this and then ask me if any problem is there. Thank you. God bless you all.